Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Marcus Aurelius, and this is Dwarf Fortress 2014. A lot has been going on since the last episode, but the first thing I want to do is I want to showcase a piece of artwork that was put together by a friend of the channel and a very talented artist by the name of Dwarf Comic. I'm also going to list in the description below the link to Dwarf Comic's DeviantArt page, where he has a number of pieces of Dwarf Fortress related artwork in addition to what I'm showing you here. What I really love about this image, however, though, is how happy the cat seems to be torn apart by this were-elephant. If you look at his expression, it seems perfectly thrilled at the idea that it will become splattered bits of goop all over the ground. The dwarves don't seem as happy, but I love everything about this image. I love the mood of it, the tone of it, and I just want to say thank you to Dwarf Comic. I hope, though I cannot of course expect, that there may be more of these in the future, not only from Dwarf Comic, but from, heck, any of you who are watching this and want to contribute in some way to this Let's Play. Alright, now that that's done, let me catch you up on a few things. First of all, Katarina von Ulm, may she rest in peace, has perished. Not only that, however, but sadly, our good friend Haas, as you can see up here, has also gone stark raving mad. He's torn all of his clothes off, and soon he will be dead as well. I'm sorry, Haas. I tried to keep you alive. I designated dwarves to feed you water. It didn't appear that your dented foot was enough to end your life prematurely, but apparently it has. And in the future, I'm going to have doctors set up in the hospital so that little minor things like this hopefully do not lead to more unfortunately dead dwarves. I'm very not happy about this. In fact, I looked for a dwarf hack code that would allow me to make Haas unmiserable so that I could save him, because I felt like this was really stupid. But unfortunately, nothing I could do. I'm sorry, Haas. All right, well, so we had a new migrant wave. So let's talk to them. Actually, there's a whole lot for me to go over here in terms of dwarf therapists. But first of all, our new migrants. Okay. We have Dwarf Comic, Phyros, Good Bad Dwarf, Hawat Redlips, Mina Moonheart, Percival, Stephanos, the Zax, Thorin, Tyrion Lannister, and Zygomantis II Augustus. Could be Zygomantis. I know he kind of wanted me to. He wanted to see how I pronounced it. Well, that's how I pronounce it. If you want to tell me how to really pronounce it, I'd appreciate that. But this is our new batch of migrants, and they have already been assigned to different position types. Dwarf Comic is unassigned. Phyros, unassigned. Good Bad Dwarf, unassigned. Hawat Redlips, unassigned. Mina Moonheart is a soldier trainee. Now, a soldier trainee is someone who is a melee dwarf, but I want to remember that they're a melee dwarf, but I don't need melee dwarfs right now. So basically, they are the old soldier class, meaning they are pump operators. However, I'm also having them contribute to the fort, so they're doing a few other things like masonry and hauling. And I did set up some pumps for them to use. So that's Mina. She is a competent hammer dwarf. Percival's unassigned. Stephanos is unassigned. The Zax is now a Marks dwarf. And I'll tell you in a minute about what I've done with the squads there. Thorin is in food service. Tyrion Lannister is also a Marks dwarf. And a woman. But that won't hold him back, if I know Tyrion Lannister. And Zygomantis II is unassigned. So I set up 2 military squads. There are Gordosh's guerrillas. Gordosh, as you know, is our militia captain. In his squad is the Zax, Atlas, Hank Luke, and Tyrion Lannister. I only want 5-man squads. And I had 6 Marks dwarfs. So I took the next best Marks dwarf after Gordosh, which is Bumchafes, and I gave him his own squad, or her own squad technically, as they both are female. And Bumchafes now has the Bumchafes Bandits, which I will hopefully fill out with some more Marks dwarfs as time goes on. If you want to look at it in terms of profession, we now have 2 animalists, Haas and Sleeves. Looks like we're going to have to get a third soon to replace the poor soon-to-be departed Haas. We have Marcus Aurelius, who is our armorer. However, we don't have any other metal people, so Marcus is also doing some metal crafting and blacksmithing until we can find some people that can take that on full-time. Right now, we're not doing enough with metal to warrant more people, so Marcus is just the metal guy. Atlas is a soldier. Captain Communism is now our bone crafter, so he's going to make bone bolts, and pretty much that's it. There's not much else I really think bone is a good material for. But bolts are good. Tokshin's our broker bookkeeper. Bumshapes is a military captain, of course. Dikiasune is our carpenter. Fyodor is now our clothier. Not because he has any skill in it, but because when I clicked the roles button, it told me that Fyodor was the best of them all to be a clothier, I guess because he has high creativity. So Fyodor is our clothier. And by that I mean someone who works with cloth. So Fyodor will be spinning thread. He will be taking that thread and making cloth out of it, and finally he'll be making clothes out of the cloth. We have 2 doctors, Krager Kveldcharn and Byzantine. And right now, since we don't have much going on in terms of a hospital, there are also masons and haulers. And even though neither one of them have any skill in diagnosis, I've set them both to be diagnosers, because we don't have one of those. And from what I understand, the skill that one has in diagnosis does not impact the accuracy of the diagnosis. It only impacts the time it takes to make the diagnosis. So anyone can be a diagnoser, and in order to be a chief medical dwarf, you need to be a diagnoser. So, not sure which of these 2 is going to end up being chief medical dwarf. I wonder how we're going to decide. It might just be random. I don't know, but we'll find out when the time comes. We have 3 engravers, Urist, wife of Balder, and Yatahali. We have 3 in food service, Matheos, Lazy Git, and Thorin. Gordosh, Hank, Luke, they're military. Mikus is our jeweler. Surreal Beliefs is our leader. Daz is our leather worker now. He's officially a leather worker. I've taken him off food service, so all he does is work leather because we need a lot of leather. Ursula is our mason. I've taken her off stone crafting. I've replaced her with Yossarian, who is our new stonecrafter. Basically, stonecrafting is a skill that ramps up relatively quickly, so pretty soon Yossarian will be legendary. And Ursula just, I love her, but she wasn't getting it done. There were crafts sitting there not being created, so I needed another one to take over for her. We have 3 miners, Ara, Argyle, and Edmus. 4 soldier trainees, again melee dwarfs that just need to pump themselves up. And then we have all the unassigned, which is the vast majority of everyone else who doesn't have a specific job but is absolutely necessary for the safe handling of the fort. They build everything. They're the architects, they're the mechanics, they're the masons, they're the plant gatherers. They burn wood, they smelt metals, and they haul. So these guys are basically quote-unquote unskilled. However, without them, I mean, the fort needs to be about 30% at least unassigned, otherwise nothing will get done. And finally, we have Camos, who is our woodcutter, along with the Zax, who is now in the military. So, another thing I want to show you here is the Dwarf Fortress wiki, and I want to see, because I looked at the list of all the animals in Dwarf Fortress, and it listed by Giant Wolverine benign, and I was going to say, what the hell does that mean, benign? But it turns out they are not as benign as they may seem. If you see here, it says, Giant Wolverines are a force to be reckoned with. While they are solitary, a single giant wolverine is more than a match for a single dwarf or any livestock. If left unchecked, they will move randomly around the map until they find a target. When they do, they will become enraged, beeline for the target, and likely immediately try to kill it upon catching up to it. And that is exactly what happened. They're in taiga and mountain zones. We are, of course, in the mountains right now, the Great Walls. So we now have 54 dwarves. Let's find out about one of them. 42. 42? 42 is Balder's wife. So, excuse me, Haas. Let's take a look at... Now we have so many dwarves, we have to search for them. Wife of Balder. Okay. View unit. Oops, not what I meant to do. Now let's view the unit. Okay, so the wife of Balder is actually the wife of Bucephalus. And Bucephalus is the only relative to live in the fortress, although the wife of Balder does have 2 sons, Rimtar and Momuz, who do not currently live in the fortress. They live somewhere else, and a number of brothers and sisters and so-and-sos. The wife of Balder has been ecstatic lately. She dined in a legendary dining room. She admired a fine table. She has been satisfied at work. She's married to Bucephalus, we know this. She's 64. Her very long hair is tied in a ponytail. She is average in size. Her somewhat narrow copper eyes are slightly sunken. Her hair is chestnut. Her skin is copper. Honestly, that's like the most attractive sounding dwarf I've ever read in this game. Usually they have big bulbous noses and their sideburns are braided and, you know, they're just a mess. But except for the, you know, sunken eyes, she doesn't have any horrific facial features. She's very slow to tire but very clumsy. She likes sandstone, nickel, silver, golden barrel, giant capybara leather. Who doesn't? I mean, come on. The color dark pink, picks, and armor stands. When possible, she prefers to consume Longland beer. We can actually get a hold of that. That's from Longland grass, and the humans have that. She absolutely detests flies. She has a very good sense of the position of her own body and good creativity, but she has questionable spatial sense and a meager ability with social relationships. She personally sees the pursuit of good craftsmanship as a total waste and values honesty. She dreams of raising a family, which she has done, so she has achieved her dream. And that's all we're going to go. She's quick to form negative views about things. She generally finds herself quite hopeful about the future. Again, no sense is made, so I'm just going to read the physical description and the stuff that has a different color for one reason or another. And that is the wife of Balder. So let's quickly summarize what's been going on. The entrance has been fixed, and it works. If you'll notice, I have a puppy here chained to the front of it. The reason for this is, as you noticed when we were attacked by the were-elephant, they don't exist until we see them. So theoretically, a were-elephant can get all the way inside of our fort and murder everybody before we see them. So the puppy exists here basically to die. When we get invaded, or if there's an ambush, or if there's a were-creature that attacks, that puppy is going to see it, it's going to reveal it to us, and then it's going to die. But we have plenty of puppies to replace it when that happens. The wall, for the most part, has been completely double built. As soon as that is complete, I will start building the second story. I've decided that I'm going to build a second story of solid wall and not build the fortifications until the third story. I have plenty of blocks, and it makes me feel a bit more secure. Why is that blue? I don't know. But hopefully it does not mean that something terrible is going to happen to us. Maybe it's raining, I think. That might be it. It's always raining here. It's like Scotland, for crying out loud. So I created a wood stockpile here because I'm trying to move the wood inside so that it's not dangerous for my dwarves. I'm going to start building my outdoor farm pretty soon. I've got more nest boxes set up, but nobody put in them. The poults are getting older. This place, though, is a mess. We've got worms. We've got louses. We've got ticks. We have some other horrible snails. Snails, louses, slugs. Ever since the cat was killed, we don't have anybody running around the fort taking care of this nonsense, so we need another cat pretty soon. I've fixed up the finished goods stockpile, as it was suggested. This top part here is only crafts. And not only that, but if you look at it, you will see that it is on auto trade. I don't know what that means, but I'm hoping it means that all the stuff in this can automatically be traded without me having to move it to the merchants area, but we'll see. We'll see if that works. And down here we have all the other random crap, like clothes that's old and busted and just random finished goods. Like, for example, well, nothing's in here, iron chains. And this is not set on auto trade, so this stuff I won't trade unless I absolutely have to. Right now it's putting clothes in here. I'm not entirely a fan of that. I want the clothes to go down in the armor stockpile, but I'll work on that at a later date. Let's see what else here. We've got a bone section here with our Craftsdwarf's workshop focused on bone. We have a clothier's workshop with a clothes stockpile, leather workshop, leather stockpile. So now our initial workshop area is completely full. So we're going to have to expand that in the future if we need to. We might not need to. We are, of course, we're going to move all metal production down to the magma when the time comes that we go down there to find it. But right now, wood is plentiful enough that I really haven't felt the urgent need. There's no sense of urgency to go down and get to magma. We're basically smelting around the clock and creating charcoal around the clock as well. Yeah. All right. So moving on, we have the military section pretty well set up. As you can see here, we have some industrious dwarves already utilizing our pump training. That's Throsil and Catnip. They're pumping themselves up. They're getting very strong so that when we do give them some armor, they are ready to go. We have our armor and weapons stockpiles set up. No one's actually using the training area, which makes me kind of sad. Also, we need to attach a puppy to this, and this is kind of a hassle. Maybe someone knows an easier way to do this, but I go to the puppy, I assign it, right? But then they're going to keep taking the puppy back and forth between the pasture and this, so I have to go all the way back up here to the puppy pasture. Puppy pasture. Go to zones, and then find the puppy, there he is, and take him out. That's really annoying. I wish it just happened automatically, that when you moved something to a different zone, it just stayed there. That would be really great. But it's not. And I'm going to have him, he's going to be like, he's going to check and see if kobolds or thieves or whatever, he's going to be the one who stops them. In fact, that should really be a war dog, not a puppy, now that I think about it, but I'll fix that up between episodes. I'll probably have some more war dogs in this hallway too, in case something should make it through. I should start setting up some traps soon too as well, to capture some people for our arena. Okay, so we've smoothed out most of this. We have our first slab, by the way. Let's take a look at it. It's a church slab, but that's not what I want. T. So it's a church memorial to Rimtar. Let's take a look at it. This is a well-crafted church memorial to Rimtar Zolbanzaphon. The slab reads, in memory of Rimtar Zolbanzaphon, born 81, bled to death, slain by the human Dazla Ringdons, the abyssal cyclopean jungles. Now, it wasn't when Dazla was a human that she slew him. It was when Dazla was a were-elephant. I wish it would say that, but it does not. In this rampage of the human Dazla blah 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 in Anvilquested in the year 150, apparently he was a lover of iron. Well, he would have loved our fortress. It's too bad he is not around to see it. And we're going to have one of these for everybody. For Azrael as well, of course. For Haas, when he passes on. And then down here, we will have our memorials to our fallen enemies. Or our, well, you know, interesting fallen enemies. You'll notice that my artifacts stockpile is working really well as well. Here's Sazir Gassis Dalzat Salir. We would have another artifact right now if Katarina didn't need silk, of all things. We have Rigoth's coffin, Rimtar's coffin, Zan's coffin, Azrael's coffin, and that's it. So Azrael so far has been the only casualty with the exception of Katarina, but she has her own special place, which I will show you. It doesn't make a lot of sense to have some dwarves in rooms that are made out of chert and some that are made completely out of iron ore. That's not fair. It's not equal. So I'm having my miners dig out all the iron ore, and then I'm building walls made out of chert in their place, so that all dwarves are going to have a completely chert room. That's just how I've decided to do it. I'm doing it slowly, however, because I'm afraid that if I dig out all the iron ore, I won't remember how to put the bedrooms back. So I'm just doing a little bit at a time, but that's what I'm doing. And I'm also setting the bedrooms up as quickly as I can, but it's going to take some time. The aqueduct, or I should say the aquifer, or I should say the... What is this damn thing? Our, water place, where water goes, guys. Where water goes. It's almost done. We've smoothed out the walls almost. We're also going to smooth out the floor. I'm moving all the rocks out. The area that goes all the way up to the river has been completely dug out. So what I need to do is just channel that out there, put a floor over it, and we're good to go. But before I do that, I need to put a grate to keep the fishes and whatnot out of our water supply, and a floodgate, of course, to stop the water once we're full. Otherwise, we will have floods and our entire fort will be destroyed, and that would not be a fun and pleasant experience for any of us. Cistern. Cistern. The word I am looking for, ladies and gentlemen, is cistern. Way to go, Marcus. Way to go. Haven't even started yet with the arena or the underground refuse, and of course, we haven't even attempted to see what is down in the deeps. So I apologize that there was a very strong lack of action in this episode, but I had a lot to update you all. This is like 2 hours of gameplay compressed into 20 minutes, so for your sake, it's probably better. I think the next episode is going to be another appendix, because we have a lot of names and interesting things to look up. Oh, before we stop, though, let's take a quick look at the resting place of Katarina von Ulm. There she is, her corpse. Now, I haven't fully decided yet what I want to do, but what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to build a wall here, and I want her memorial to be like right here in the hallway. But I don't want it to be just out in the open like this. I want it to kind of be here. So I figured if I build a wall here and a wall here, and maybe a wall all the way through here, there'll be the memorial, and then she'll be walled in, her tomb. You don't need a door to her tomb. It's not like people need to go in there and look at her, bones. So, I don't know, but I'll think about it, and I'll plan it out later. So, once again, I'm Marcus Aurelius. Thank you so much for watching. Have a good one.